There hardly ever comes a story like The Foundation, which builds itself around the ideas of war, peace, and the collective nature of humanity as a whole. Namaste everyone, my name is Rainbow Rainfire, and today we are going to do a book review on the book The Foundation. The Foundation series was written by Issac Asimov in the year 1951 and is one of the most influential science fiction books of all time. The first book, titled The Foundation, was originally a part of a trilogy of books, but later on in the expanded Asimov timeline, it became one of the 7 books in the Foundation series. The novel is divided into 5 parts, which are actually 5 different short stories. Namely, Part 1, The PsychoHistorians, Part 2, The Encyclopedists, Part 3, The Mayors, Part 4, The Traders, and Part 5, The Merchant Princess. I will be giving a short summary of the book, so if you're planning to read the book and don't want any spoilers, then just skip right ahead to the review. Or if you have read the book and need a quick summary before reading the sequel, then the summary is coming right up. Part 1, The PsychoHistorians. The first part of the story establishes the fictional science of psychohistory as a combined form of history, mathematical statistics, and psychology, which can be used to determine the behavioral characteristics and predict future actions of a large-scale populations, such as the Galactic Empire. Hari Seldon is the creator of this new science of psychohistory, and using it he determines the fall of the Galactic Empire along with its capital Trantor within the next 300 years, and also the emergence of a subsequent dark age of wars for the next 30,000 years until the emergence of another Galactic Empire. His treasonous claims towards predicting the end of the Galactic Empire cause him to be arrested by the Commission of Public Safety along with another young mathematician, Gal Dornick. Hari Seldon is able to convince the Galactic Empire to allow him and his team of 51 mathematicians to collect and develop all human knowledge in the form of an encyclopedia to reduce the interregnum period to 1,000 years. To quiet him down and deeming him not a threat to the Empire, the Public Safety Commission exiles Hari Seldon and his team of approximately 100,000 to the remote planet of Terminus, a planet which is devoid of metals and resources, to start their project. Part 2, The Encyclopedists. 50 years have passed since the events of the PsychoHistorians, and Hari Seldon is now deceased. The board of the Foundation project now consists of 5 members who put all their time and effort into building the encyclopedia, while the running of the planet is done by a figurehead mayor named Salvor Hardin. During these 50 years, the degeneracy of the Galactic Empire has started, and 4 provinces surrounding Terminus have broken off from the Galactic Empire and have declared themselves as independent powers, with Terminus being in the center of these 4 kingdoms. Salvor Hardin realizes the immediate threat on Terminus being the choke point among the 4 kingdoms, but he lacks the legal authority to do anything about it, since the 5-member board believes that they are protected by the Empire and would like to focus solely on the construction of the encyclopedia. It is also revealed that the science of psychohistory was not passed on to the descendants of Terminus. Only a limited amount of psychology was taught on Terminus by Dr. Bor Aluin, which Salvor Hardin had the good fortune of learning. In the shifting balances of power, Terminus is first approached by the kingdom of Anacreon to establish a military base on their planet. Hardin figures out their intent of creating a base is just their attempt to create Terminus into a puppet state and eventual annexation. He deters their attempt by bluffing Terminus being in possession of nuclear weapons. As he had known, none of the 4 kingdoms had the power of nucleics. Before his death, Hari Seldon had created a time vault and instructed the leaders of Foundation to open it in 50 years. This was that year. During the opening of the Time Vault, a holographic projection of Seldon appears and explains to them the real intention of the Foundation project, which was not to create an encyclopedia but to form the epicenter of the Second Empire, and the whole future was already planned ahead of them by the use of psychohistory. In order to make sure that they don't stray away from the planned future, knowledge regarding psychohistory was not passed on to the descendants of the Foundation. In the recording, Selden mentions that this crisis will be the first of many crises the planet will face, and hints the solution of this crisis to an obvious one. Salvor Hardin, after learning the truth, launches a coup with his chief advisor, Johann Lee, and gains control of Terminus. It is later revealed that Hardin uses diplomacy to prevent the conquering of Terminus by Anacreon by allying with the other three kingdoms. From this point, each future-altering crisis is referred to as a Selden crisis. Part 3. The Mayors. This part takes place 30 years after the events of the Encyclopedists. The relationship between the four kingdoms and the Foundation is now based on a system of technological exchange via a religion founded by Salvor Hardin called Scientism. Only the priests educated on Terminus had the knowledge to use the nuclear technology, but people from the kingdoms thought that it is mystical and not scientifically explainable. The priesthood system, while an effective hold on the four kingdoms surrounding Terminus, caps any possible scientific rebellion and the leak of knowledge. Since the most brilliant students of the sciences remain on Terminus as research students, and finally citizens, they drastically enhance the scientific superiority of the Foundation. In the kingdom of Anacreon, the crown prince is being persuaded by his regent to declare war on the Foundation and claim all their technology as their own, using their technology to eventually conquer all the four kingdoms. Meanwhile, Salvor Hardin's political dominance is being challenged by a young group of upstarts who form the Actionist Party, who believe that the four kingdoms are fleecing the Foundation of their technology, and the current method of priesthood does not guarantee them long-term protection from the four kingdoms. They believed that the Foundation should declare war first and conquer the territories themselves. The kingdom of Anacreon discovers an old imperial warship and sends it to the Foundation with the demand of repairing it, refusal of which will result in war with the Foundation. The Foundation fixes and submits the ship to Anacreon to appease them. However, the kingdom of Anacreon still declares war on the Foundation. Salvor Hardin, who was on visit to Anacreon, had already predicted this turn of events and rallied the mob to his side, because the people of the kingdom already looked to the Foundation for authority, and the secular power of the kings was already a sub-function of the priestly according to their new religion. Hardin rallied the mob to his side and thus prevented the attack on Terminus by Anacreon. The Foundation then signed treaties that prevented such action in the future with the other three kingdoms and with Anacreon as well. After the resolution of this crisis, Hari Seldon appears in the Time Vault again and lauds the people for solving the crisis and explains the strategy of religious expansion is only as good as a defensive strategy and not sufficient as a long-term expansion strategy. Part 4. The Traders. This takes place 75 years after the events of the Mayors. Ascon is a planet which has a ban on nuclear technology, which is the main power of the Foundation. Limmar Ponietz is a trader who is tasked to negotiate the release of a Foundation agent named Eskel Gorov. Eskel Gorov was captured trying to trade nucleics to the Asconian people. Limmar Ponietz negotiates with the Grand Master, the leader of the Asconians, for the release of Eskel Gorov for 500 pounds of gold. Limmar Ponietz also makes a deal with the council member Ferl to sell him his gold transmuter in exchange for shiploads of tin, promising him a potential future with him as the next Grand Master with his newfound wealth. Limmar records Ferl using the transmuter in Ascon, a planet which has a ban on nuclear devices, thus blackmailing him and pushing him for the position of Grand Master, eventually to allow for the legalization of nucleics in Ascon. It is revealed that in further years, nuclear technology was legalized in Ascon and the Foundation soon sent their priests for religious conquest of the planet. Part 5. The Merchant Princess. Several more years pass and the Foundation's power and influence continues to grow in the periphery. The Foundation has just lost 3 of their nuclear ships near the Republic of Coral. The Corellian Republic is one of the kingdoms not yet in trade with the Foundation, as the Foundation has now become infamous for forcefully spreading the religion that comes along with their trade. Hober Mallow, a master trader, is sent on a reconnaissance mission to Coral by Joran Sutt to find out whether Coral possesses nuclear technology themselves. On the way, Mallow's ship rescues a Foundation missionary running away from the Coral Republic. After interrogating the missionary, Mallow decides to execute the Foundation priest as he broke the Corellian law of not trading with a Foundation member and also the Foundation law of trading with a state without permission. Looking at this gesture, the Corellian government opens talks with Mallow, and after a series of discussions, Corellian government agrees trade with Mallow on the condition that they no longer be forced to accept their religion and only trade commodities which do not require maintenance and operation by the members of the priesthood. Hober Mallow, now completing his recon and trade mission in the Coral Republic, undertakes a journey to the border regions of the now declining Galactic Empire, to the planet of Sivina. Mallow saw the unstable political leadership and the decapitated state of once a flourishing planet surviving on technology by people who do not even understand it. On inquiring, Mallow found out that the planet has a hereditary job of Tech Man, held by people who restrict themselves to simple maintenance of previously produced machinery, which they are neither able to understand nor fully replicate or repair. After returning to Terminus, Joran Sutt denounces Mallow and his actions and gets him arrested in having the missionary aboard his ship killed. During the court hearing, Mallow presents his evidences, as he had already made recordings of all actions and wins the case as well as the support of the mob, getting Sutt arrested. Mallow becomes the mayor of Terminus. Several years pass, and the Corellians try to invade the Foundation by using nuclear technology provided to them by the Empire. Although their military prowess was far greater, Mallow imposes a trade embargo on the Republic, who have become heavily dependent on the lifestyle of the products imported by the Foundation. To support their infrastructure and needs, the Corellian Republic stops the attack and cedes to the Foundation's requests and is incorporated within the Foundation. This marks the end of the first book in the series. Throughout all the incidents, the Foundation comes ahead, preventing wars without any bloodshed, true to its theme. As Salvor Hardin famously quoted, "Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent." I personally loved reading this book. The story of the book is a masterpiece in its own right. It's a shame that it's not known by many avid readers, and it's not as popular as many of the contemporary series. The narrative was via the means of short stories rather than continuous text, which leaves much for character development, but makes up for it in regards of their legacy and their continuity of the story. I found the language of the book, let's say, in the medium difficulty grade. Not too easy, not too hard, although a little bit archaic at times. Overall, I would highly recommend this book to everyone to read it, and if you're a fan of science fiction, then it is a definite must read for you. 4 out of 5. If you liked the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe. Ring the bell for updates on the channel, and if you have or are planning on reading this book, let me know in the comment section. And a shout out to my Bell gang, who are always there first to show their support. And I'll see you next time.